Hey everybody, this is MyCollectables coming back with another video, and this might be one of my most important videos that I've ever made, and I don't want to be sensationalizing it, but I'm telling you right now, there are signs that come along every now and again, when you're in like a collecting sort of field where it's very bullish for what's going on, and in particular with digital collecting and with the digital space in general, just digital assets and the way the world has been going, there are there are some big moments that have just happened in the last day or so here, including the last month or so, which really just continue to solidify my confidence in the space as a whole. Okay. And so I've made some videos lately, that have got a decent amount of attention, from all sorts of people. I made a video, a couple weeks ago about securing your grails in the digital space, not just on Veve, but just looking at all the signs that are pointing to the digital collecting space as beginning to be solidified, as definitely becoming something that people are really starting to pay attention to, and getting ahead of all that before we do really get a lot of mass adoption. And when you see something like this decision that was made, in the crypto space, this is just another one of those signals to me, that just shows that, the general public, the mass people that are out there that have had questions about cryptocurrencies, have had questions about digital collectibles, NFTs, gaming, Web3 gaming, all of that stuff. These are the kind of things that make people have confidence in what's going to happen. This decision, which I'm not going to get into and break it all down, there's plenty of people who can do that for you. This is just an article from Reuters right here, which is interesting about Bitcoin hovering near a 13-month high. It really just talks about the decision, that happened, in the courts, and how this has affected, cryptocurrencies, how they've jumped up in the last 24 hours specifically, as it's put confidence, in the general public and into investors again, into going into this space. So these are the kind of signals that I look for. Other ones that have happened already, of course, have been Apple's goggles and their commitment to AR. I mean, that's bullish for digital collecting as well, and for all sorts of ways that humans interact, with the digital space moving forward. There are moments like this in time that we will look back on and we will say that was a critical turning point, and I've been through a lot of these moments, you guys. I was born in the 70s. I've seen a lot of stuff happen. I've been a collector for almost 40 years. I've worked in the graphic design business as a digital graphic designer and a physical print designer since 2001. I've been through everything, you guys, and it's really quite interesting what's happening. So my belief in the digital space continues to grow. Now, the rise of Bitcoin as a solidifying asset that people actually are gaining more confidence in affects everything that we're doing here. This is just my opinion, but everything that you're doing, if you're watching this video and I make content about digital collectibles on Veve and other great platforms as well, that I've been really strong in this area, really pushing this area, really believing in the space through all the downs and all the ups and downs and everything, through all the uncertainty. These are the kind of things that build certainty. The digital world, you guys, is upon us, and we're going to see big changes in it over the next 6 months, 24 months. Everything is going to be getting a little bit more solidified and it's going to take off a lot quicker than you think. Digital collecting adoption from people who would normally not go into this space is already happening. And this kind of stuff like this it just builds more confidence for that. Web3 gaming. This is another one that is really starting to gain, a foothold. And with kind of decisions like this, it's really starting to make that kind of area get more and more prominence. You see bigger gaming, like even content creators who are getting more interested in that, who are into gaming, of course. It's happening. Mass crypto adoption. It's always been the case where crypto was always, really sketchy and everything. But you can see what's happening with Bitcoin right at the top and other things. These decisions, they show people that it's it's okay to go into this area for sure. The top projects, for NFTs and digital collecting, everything through the space have been slowly building through this bear market. Veve, Nike has been building in this area. You know, HRO, Cryptoys, who just coming onto the scene, recently announced their AI capabilities, which is going to be really fascinating. Apple with their glasses, McFarlane's getting into it. Todd himself, if you've watched how he's doing his digital collecting, he's building that in the background. The NBA has already been doing it. Major League Baseball, I'm on other platforms that do all sorts of stuff with NFTs and digital collecting and digital assets. The shift has already happened, you guys. It happened a while ago. Now, if you're here, you're obviously aware of all this stuff that's been going on. We've been fighting the fight. We've been in the trenches. You know, we've been the ones who have gone up and down with this. And now it's starting to come out to the other side, in my opinion, for sure. The doubters, though, there's lots of them still. And it's funny that they're still in the space, but they'll dig in tough here, you guys. You know, nobody likes to admit when they're not right. Everyone always wants to be right. No one wants to admit when they're wrong. You know, the bear market was tough on a lot of people, and people will dig in and still defend those positions that, you know, certain things, certain projects won't succeed and all this kind of stuff. Even though there are so many things showing that everything is going in the right direction, you know, and this is what I've been talking about on my channel for the last while. I've been talking about this shift, this move, you know, for at least the last 6 months to a year, I've been talking about this. Okay. There are people who don't believe in a company like Veve, for example, you know, or Cryptoys or other assets like that. Disney believes, Marvel believes, Star Wars believes, Pixar believes, Sesame Street believes, Alibaba believes. So, I mean, you know, if all of these factors are coming into this thing right here and pushing it forward, it's just a matter of time before the doubters turn into believers, and maybe they never will. But, you know, you got to ask yourself, you know, do you want to be like, where do you want to be? Do you want to be ahead, or do you want to be behind, or playing catch up? It's quite interesting right here. Crypto is taking off again due to the recent announcements, you guys. Bitcoin is solidifying as a powerful digital asset around the world. You can see it all over the place. Like I said, this just puts more confidence into what we're doing here. You know, will you be left behind? Will you be catching up? Will you be ahead? That's what we've been talking about here. There's always opportunities, right? And as a collector, you know, a digital collector now, as well as a physical collector, through all the times that I've been through, you know, I've never actually been more excited about this space right here. Not just to make money. That's not what this is all about as well. This is just about being here and getting your hands on some of the greatest stuff ever and really enjoying the experience. I've had so much fun collecting digital over collecting physical. I'll still do both, you know, but this space is the one that's growing and drawing my attention more. And the youth, the demographics are already adopting this big time. So I come from the generation, you guys, of the people who are against this stuff the most. And of course, my parents, God love them, of course. So why am I bullish, you guys? Why am I so positive on this channel? I've been through a designer since 2001, as a collector for almost 40 years. Like I said, I've been, as a graphic designer, I've been on my computer. I've been in the digital age, creating websites, creating brands. I see all this kind of stuff. I'm already like kind of locked into that kind of area. So I see it before a lot of other collectors would. But as a physical collector, I've been through the whole thing. I've lived through the explosion, the mass marketing with toys and movies. The first time that ever happened was Star Wars toys. I lived through that whole era. You know, when they started to mass adopt, like when they started to like mass market toys using movies, media, cartoons, I grew up in that. That's the 80s. That's the 70s. That's when they started doing all that. I've seen all of that and how that progression worked and how that's normal now. When the movie comes out, you see collectibles, toys, promotions. That started in my generation, you guys. When I was a kid, I was the one they marketed to. I've seen it. I lived through the explosion of the collectibles industry, through the late 80s and early 90s, when all the sports cards blew up and everything, and the whole collectibles industry became like a real industry, not just kind of a niche thing. I've lived through that, you guys. I've seen the up and downs of that. I've been through the explosions of the .com boom. I lived through the adoption of the internet and websites being created for the first time. I was in my 20s during that time, you guys. I lived through it. I've been there. I've seen it. Okay, I've lived through the social media explosion. You know, I was in my 30s during that time, you guys. I mean, I've seen a lot, you guys, and I know you have as well. And this is what makes me bullish about what we're seeing right now. I see the same kind of signs. There's ups and downs for sure. There's doubts. There's going to be winners and losers with these companies, right? But I've seen it all, you guys. I've seen it come through. And now we're seeing this again. But this is different. This is actually quite something. It's advanced further than I could actually imagine. And we're just getting started, guys. This is just at the beginning, right? So the good news about all of this stuff is that we're still early in it. There's still time. When I made my video about, securing your grails, there were people who commented on it who never watched the video. I could tell, because in that video, the message wasn't get your grails this second. It's doing it now during this time. How much longer are you going to wait? Are you going to wait till everybody shows up? Because this is what's going to happen. We all know it. And if you don't believe in that space, then in this space, then I don't know why you're still here. But the rest of us who do believe it, we know it's going to happen. We see it all coming, and when you're a part of certain projects that have the biggest IPs in the world for collecting, what more can you ask for sure, right? There's still a lot of work to do. We're still going to be watching this thing grow. But the good news is we're still here in the beginning. So how long do you wait before you really get your stuff that you want and you really start to understand that this is actually something that's not going away? It's only growing. Veve in particular, we'll talk about that because that's what I mostly talk about on this channel. But I love what the other projects are doing as well. HRO is doing amazing stuff. Cryptoys is doing great stuff. DC NFT continues to plug along. Veve's got international payout back. That is bullish, you guys. Don't think so short term with the market, okay? Sure, there's going to be dips with people cashing out, but this is bullish for the whole platform. We want international payout. This is fantastic. Marvel and, at the San Diego Comic-Con, Veve's going to be right there with them again, doing tons more marketing. Master Collector's already right there. Languages are already there. David, he's making agreements with, international companies to go global. You guys, if you don't recognize what's happening, I don't know what to tell you. But let's just go with this thing together. Let's just be together on this right here. Let's just try to encourage other people to get into the space, get into digital collecting, and I would recommend, that you make sure that you remove all negativity from your life, because I got to tell you, there are people out there who will want to hold you back. I'm not one of those people. I want you to succeed, you guys. I want you to move forward. I want you to realize your dreams, and I want you to have fun along the way doing it. That's what I'm all about. That's what this channel is all about. So we'll just be here together for sure and go on this fun journey. And like I said, it's just getting more and more solidified in my mind about what is happening in the digital world, not just in Veve, everywhere. This is a really amazing time, guys. Let's see what happens over this summer. Just buckle up. All the signs are pointing to the good stuff, and there's always going to be dips. There's always going to be stuff that happens if you're looking at just straight dollars and cents. But just remember, I think you're on the right path, and I'm right here beside you. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Have yourself a great day, and happy collecting, you guys. That's what it's all about.